you done now?
Broadcasting live from Houston, Texas, and around the world. TV host, best-selling author, and radio personality Brad Gilmore brings you a collection of conversations with stars from movies.
Mark Wahlberg.
Hey, how are you?
The legendary Mr. Christopher Lloyd. Christopher, how are we doing?
I'm doing good. Great introduction.
Television.
Jimmy Fallon joins us this morning. Jimmy, how you doing, my friend?
Good morning. Thank you so much, Brad, for having me. I appreciate this, bud.
Kelly Ripa.
Brad, thank you for having me.
Comedy.
Jay Leno joins us. Jay, how you doing?
Hey, Brad, what's going on?
Gabriel Fluffy Iglesias.
Good morning.
Music.
Lola Monroe.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
The legendary frontman of AC/DC, Brian Johnson, joins us right now. Brian, how you doing?
Good morning, Brad. Looking at you, give me funny, lad.
And more. This is The Collection. Now your host, The Boat, Brad Gilmore.
Thank you, Keith, and welcome everyone to The Collection. My name is The Boat, Brad Gilmore. So excited that you joined us for another episode of the show. If this is your first time checking us out, welcome. Welcome to The Collection. This is literally, like they say in the intro, a collection of my favorite conversations with entertainers throughout the landscape, whether that's comedy, music, movies, television, film, sports, wherever. We have them here on The Collection, and today is no different. Really excited to get to our guest today, but I want to remind everyone, if you're checking this out and you haven't left us a rating or a review in your favorite podcast app, go ahead and do so. It really helps us over here at The Collection. This week, just as all weeks, we are entertaining you with 3 brand new interviews, and this one is one that I'm sure you're all going to love. Let's find out who we're talking to this week on The Collection.
And he joins us right now. We're talking about Criminal Minds Evolution. Yes, Criminal Minds is back, and it's on Paramount Plus. You can get new episodes every Thursday exclusively on the service. One of the stars joins us right now, Joe Mantegna. Joe, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much.
Hey, you know what? Thank you for making Criminal Minds happen again. I've been a guy who's been such a fan of this show for so many seasons. It went away a couple years ago. It's back, and I was trying to figure out, what was the impetus for making it come back? And what I heard was there's just such a audience still for the show, not just domestically, but abroad. People in China love Criminal Minds. People all over the world. Was that what brought the show back?
I think without question. I mean, at the end of the day, the public dictates what they want to see. And I mean, and I know it's one of the most syndicated shows in the world right now. And I get fan mail. You mentioned China. I get a lot of mail from China, from Germany, from I've gotten fan mail from the Ukraine. And sometimes when I try to return a certain letter, it comes back undeliverable. I'm thinking, oh Jesus, I hope that person's home is still there.
Yeah.
That wrote me from the Ukraine, even. So I mean, we have a huge fan base worldwide. And it's a testament to the popularity of the show, and we're thrilled that that's the case, and we're thrilled to be back doing it.
Was it difficult? Because I know there wasn't the longest break in the world between the show's series finale and then the kind of the reboot with Criminal Minds Evolution. But is it hard for you to jump back into a character that you already felt like you closed the chapter on?
It wasn't that difficult because, first of all, partly because I incorporated a lot of Joe Mantegna into David Rossi. And I mean, and that was intentional. In other words, I got some great advice years ago from the producer, Don Bellisario, who was a dear friend of mine who I worked on a series called First Monday with James Garner with him. And he had said, if you do a TV series, Joe, think about picking a role or picking elements of your character that you can relate to personally, because you might be doing it for many, many years. And certainly as it turned out with Criminal Minds, it has. So the fact that he's an Italian-American, that I cook, that I like, people like Tony Bennett and Johnny Mathis and Sinatra and all that. Those are all elements of the character, and those are elements of Joe Mantegna. And so that's helped me jump back into it. It's not like that David Rossi is a direct reflection of me, but there certainly is there's a lot in common between the two David Rossi and myself. And so that's helped a lot. So it's very comfortable to play the role, day in and day out.
Do you look for, you speak of trying to put some Joe Mantegna into the character. Do you try to do that in a lot of the roles that you are offered? And when I say that, I mean like find something that you can identify with within the character, even if you're playing somebody in real life, like when you played, I don't know, Dean Martin, or when you played Diamond Joe Esposito back in the day in the Elvis movie. Do you ever try to find something that you can identify with in that character, or do you play it as it's written?
Well, you play it as it's written, but you can't help but bring, a certain element of who you are to the role. It's just like if you took 5 different people and 5 different actors and had each of them do the same role, the same lines, exactly the same, obviously you would have 5 different performances. And people might say, well, actually, I kind of like that guy's version better, or somebody else might say, I like that interpretation better. So it's hard to say how much. You can't help but invest some of who you are in it. But yet, on the other hand, especially if you're portraying a real life person, like I did when I played Dean Martin, you do a lot of research and you try to incorporate a lot of what made that particular person who they were. So when I played Dean Martin, I did a lot of research on that, and even the way he sounded, the way he dressed, the way he carried himself, even the way he smoked a cigarette. So it really would depend on the role you're playing. But you can't help but incorporate a lot of who you are. As to how much of it is you, it depends on the project.
You've done so many iconic characters over the years. 2 that stick out to me, of course, are your voicing of Fat Tony on The Simpsons, and of course, Joey Zaza in Godfather Part 3. If you had to pick between 2 of those 2 characters, which one you enjoyed more? I know it's probably a hard Sophie's choice there, but do you have a favorite between those 2?
Oh, well, look, Joe, I'm still doing Fat Tony. I just did one a couple of days ago, and so I've been doing that for 32 years, and he's still alive. I can't say the same for Joey Zaza. But I enjoyed both immensely. I mean, to be in one of the Godfather movies is a real privilege. To work with Francis Coppola and Pacino, and just be in that movie was, as my dear friend Vinny Guastavero said, you're in the Italian Star Wars, which was when I got that role with Godfather. And so there's that, but then I love doing Fat Tony, and I'm still doing it. And so that's a tough one. I love both those characters, and I feel blessed to have done the one, and feel blessed that I'm still doing the other.
One final question for you, Joe. Again, we're talking about Criminal Minds Evolution. New episodes are on Paramount Plus every Thursday. One of my favorite movies of all time, Three Amigos. You have such a great scene in that movie where you play the movie producer along with these iconic comedians. What do you remember about doing that movie?
Oh, God. Well, just that. I mean, to work with, Chevy Chase, Martin Short, and Steve Martin, that was just great. I mean, John Landis directing. It was a wonderful experience. It was early in my film career. I had a lot of fun, doing it. And ironically, what's kind of fun is there was an actress in it who played my secretary, and it was Gail O'Grady. That was her very first job. She just had like one line, like, "Yes, Mr. Flugelman." And that Gail O'Grady, now I just did a scene with her a couple of days ago because she plays my wife on Criminal Minds, my third wife, Crystal. And so talk about spanning a whole career. It turns out one actress kind of bookending 2 parts of my career. So that's kind of a nice little trivia thing for at least for myself and for her, which is kind of interesting.
That's incredible.
But yeah, I love the Three Amigos. Yeah.
Yeah, such a great movie. And, Criminal Minds, such a great show. New episodes again on Paramount Plus every Thursday. Joe, thank you for taking time for us.
My pleasure. Thank you.